Look, I get that this president wants full credit for the economy he inherited and zero blame for the pandemic that he ignored. But you know what? The job doesn't work that way. Tweeting at the television doesn't fix things. Making stuff up doesn't make people's lives better. You've got to have a plan. You've got to put in the work. And along with the experience to get things done, Joe Biden has concrete plans and policies that will turn our vision of a better, fairer, stronger country into a reality. We literally left this White House a pandemic playbook that would have shown them how to respond before the virus reached our shores. They probably used it to, I don't know, prop up a wobbly table somewhere. We don't know where that playbook went. 8 months into this pandemic, cases are rising again across this country. Donald Trump isn't suddenly going to protect all of us. He can't even take the basic steps to protect himself. Just last night, he complained up in Erie that the pandemic made him go back to work. I'm quoting here. He was upset that the pandemic's made him go back to work. If he'd actually been working the whole time, it never would have gotten this bad. So look, here's the truth. I want to be honest here. This pandemic would have been challenging for any president. But this idea that somehow this White House has done anything but completely screw this up is just not true. I'll give you a very specific example. Korea identified its first case at the same time that the United States did. At the same time. Their per capita death toll is just 1.3% of what ours is. In Canada, it's just 39% of what ours is. Other countries are still struggling with the pandemic, but they're not doing as bad as we are because they've got a government that's actually been paying attention. And that means lives lost. And that means an economy that doesn't work. And just yesterday, when asked if he'd do anything differently, Trump said, not much. Really? Not much? Nothing you can think of that could have helped some people keep their loved ones alive? So Joe's not going to screw up testing. He's not going to call scientists idiots. He's not going to host a super spreader event at the White House. Joe will get this pandemic under control with a plan to make testing free and widely available, to get a vaccine to every American cost-free, and to make sure our frontline heroes never ask other countries for the equipment they need. His plan will guarantee paid sick leave for workers and parents affected by the pandemic, and make sure that the small businesses that hold our communities together and employ millions of Americans can reopen safely.
And that is how you rebuff every last argument that Trump and Republicans can possibly put forward with regard to Trump's handling of the coronavirus. Because underneath all of the gaslighting and distractions and spinning and whataboutisms, the truth of the matter is that this administration's response to the pandemic has not only been mismanaged, but has been one of the greatest failures in this country's history. The simple fact is that Trump had every advantage humanly possible as this virus was heading to our shores. Pandemics are nothing new in this country, and he had a pandemic playbook left by the previous administration, which had successfully emerged from two pandemics, H1N1 and Ebola. He had a pandemic response team. He had years to build up our supply of PPE, and he ignored all of it. Why? Because he was more concerned with downplaying the virus to protect the stock market. This was never about the American people, it was only about Trump's re-election. And so instead of taking the steps necessary to contain it, instead of coordinating a nationwide testing and contact tracing plan, instead of invoking the Defense Production Act and producing more PPE, instead of endorsing stay-at-home orders and nationwide
мест это даст. Жители Удмуртии должны узнавать результаты тестов на ковид в течение 2 суток. Соответствующее поручение Минздраву дал глава республики. Первый снег и очереди на шиномонтаж. Как республика справилась с осадками и что обещают метеорологи? В ближайшие дни в Удмуртии появится дополнительные 500 коек для больных коронавирусной инфекцией. В Ижевске сегодня завершается перепрофилирование корпуса 6-й городской больницы на улице Труда в ковид-центр. Всего на базе стационара будет открыто около 1000 мест. Как идут работы и какое новое оборудование сегодня расставляют в палатах, подробности у Дианы Филимоновой.
О том, что здесь размещалось отделение токсикологии, стены меняют сантехнику и душевые. Но это все косметика. Главное изменение в палатах небольшие вентили, там, где через несколько дней встанут.
Увеличить количество клиентов можно в несколько кликов. Скопируйте настройки.
Кровати.
This is NBC Nightly News with
hate America because it's yes, that's how they want to be. Yes. It's the opposite. Because I don't know, maybe not. But anyway, it is said everywhere. It's not my idea. I don't think like this here. It is the Russians, the Valentina, I don't know. Russian people always say, they mean it when you in some Kisilov news and and some, it's actually, I'm not a policeman, you understand it, yeah. Everybody means it inside. Of course, yeah. No, not yet. Not yet. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about it, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I'm a part of it, of course, but I don't think like this. Yeah, this way. That's Russian. Yeah. But Russian, like, people, like, yeah, besides America, yeah. Yeah, and, don't forget. That's Russian. No, it's great. Lazy, нет, наоборот, okay. I live in Russia, come here. It's a great country, yeah, of course. Наоборот, Russia has a system that forget it. Sometimes I think, forget it.
Lester Holt.
Good evening to our viewers in the West. We begin here tonight with breaking news. The FBI this evening making an announcement about what it calls a major election security issue. Let's get right to Pete Williams now with more.
Lester, the FBI says tonight that threatening emails sent to
Of course, it's a phrase. 20 million people died here. When they could, yes, in other countries there were 2 million altogether. And this is 20 million. Of sickness, no. Sick people, mad people, crazy. Just an example, your relatives and somewhere from this, yeah. You don't have right to die in this amount, yeah? Understand? No? If you're to kill yourself in this. Oh, I don't know. It's not my problem. It's some fake news, yeah. You just have to work it out. Be patient and work it out. If you can't work, just be patient. But, no, of course not. Blame to her. Oh my. So it's all fake successes. Always fake. Yeah. They don't wanna. Yeah. It's your problem. Of course we can survive. I assure you, really. No. I don't think so. Or can okay. Very grateful. I don't know that. It's just unlikely, yes. Forget it. Great success. I don't know. Russia is good. It's good country. Very good.
voters in at least 4 states and said to be from a far-right group called the Proud Boys were actually the work
very rich of people. Our people are the best in the world. The smartest Russian people. The cleverest and the kindest and the most creative people on the whole planet. Like Zadornov said. And our Americans are fools, of course. No, not just men, only neighbors. have to die. If you're Russian, you have to die. For life. Dying is living, no? Oh, because we are saints. But there are some saints to this.
Of Iran. The emails started showing up earlier this week in the inboxes of registered Democrats in Florida and Alaska. They said, quote, "You will vote for President Trump on Election Day or we will come after you." The emails claimed that the Proud Boys had information about the voters, adding to the threatening nature, and told the recipients to switch their party registration to Republican. But the Proud Boys immediately said they had nothing to do with the emails. Local authorities alerted the FBI, and tonight the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, says the messages were a clear attempt to interfere in the...
Nothing, you can't make sense of it. 20 millions of people died for not their war. They didn't mean it, yeah. It's called Russia, it's our brains in Russia, yeah. It's called, you don't have to, yes. So it's, yeah. You need it, yeah. And it's in everything, it's your brain, so yeah. It's the way of Russians, everything that has the Russian label and Russian thinking, Russian scientists, Russian books, Russian singings, Russian. Yes, made in Russia, that's right. So about, yeah. Something really good. Not survival. Not survival, yeah. It's not politics, it's about, you know, there is something, yeah. Ethics is yes. Only you moving your body like you always do. Okay. This dude moves only his body, I move only my body. Yes, if I think wrongly, my stomach aches. If I think correctly, it's okay. If I think wrongly, maybe I even have a cancer or something, or some sicknesses. If I am very angry or very, dull and boring, I don't joke. I'm joking. Yeah. I don't mean anything. It's such a it's psychologist and so on. The deep sides of psychology when you're over flaming of your nose. Okay, you got it. Yes, connection. Your body and everything. It's only your body. It's only your life. It's connected to everything. Yeah, understand. It'll be so good for Russian. So it is the way of Russian. Everything is made 2,000 years near the Europeans. 2,000 years near the Eastern countries. Eastern and Est. Oh, sure. Yeah. We are so yes. Of course, because we are as patient and as as wise as China or what? Eastern. That's Turkish. Yeah. So, yes, forget it. Nothing to be proud of. Just go on and survive. Yeah. Forget about these labels. It's all fucked up. It's just cheap for the I'm more interesting. I was born here. I'm more interesting how other people survive. It's the question of feeding. You don't have enough food. I'm not working and I'm having food, for example. What's your problem? He thinks that we would be it's an interesting question. So I wouldn't mind if here will be a hungry people here on the lands of Phil, you know that. Yes, Canadians, you know. Hungry people, не знаю. Других нет, он да, не знаю. Hungry in America. Sorry. You know. I'm just a piano player. Prove that.
U.S. election. We have already seen Iran sending spoofed emails designed to intimidate voters, incite social unrest, and damage President Trump.
The intelligence community says both Iran and Russia have obtained some voter registration information, but that so far Russia does not appear to have done anything with it. Russia did obtain some voter registration information 4 years ago, too. Ratcliffe and the FBI director, in an unusual late evening televised statement, said Iranian and Russian activity was detected quickly by the intelligence community. They said voters should continue to have confidence in the security of the U.S. election system. The White House says tonight that President Trump has directed law enforcement, defense, and intelligence agencies to monitor any attempts to interfere in the election. And it says tonight's disclosure shows that those efforts are working. Lester?
All right, Pete Williams, thanks. But as President Trump campaigns tonight in North Carolina, Republican Senator Mitt Romney making a statement by voting for someone else. Jeff Bennett joins me now from the White House with more. Jeff?
That's right, Lester. Senator Mitt Romney says he already cast his ballot in the 2020 election. He says he did not vote for President Trump, but wouldn't say if he voted for Joe Biden. With Election Day fast approaching, the president's closing argument is clouded by controversy, including his attacks on Dr. Anthony Fauci and his repeated downplaying of the pandemic. Add to that new reporting by the New York Times revealing the president has extensive business interests in China and is linked to a bank account there. The disclosure dealing a blow to President Trump's attempt to paint Joe Biden as the one who's soft on China. Lester?
All right, Jeff Bennett tonight, thank you. And join us for the final presidential debate moderated by NBC's Kristen Welker tomorrow night at 8 Eastern here on NBC. Barack Obama making a fiery return to the campaign trail tonight, appealing to Pennsylvania voters on behalf of his former number 2, Joe Biden, and launching a sharp attack on Donald Trump. With now under 2 weeks before the election and 24 hours until the next and final debate, both campaigns are mapping their paths to victory. The president in North Carolina targeting Joe Biden, among others. We're covering it all, starting with Andrea Mitchell in Philadelphia.
Tonight, former President Obama back on the trail for Joe Biden.
I am back here tonight to ask you to deliver the White House for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Polls show Biden slightly ahead in a state that had not voted for a Republican president since 1988, until President Trump won by just 44,000 votes.
I got my start working in a community just like this.
In Philadelphia today, Obama appealing to black men, a voting bloc that did not give Hillary Clinton the turnout she needed.
The easiest thing to do is just say, well, I quit. But we can't afford to quit. Our ancestors, our fathers, our grandfathers, they had a much better excuse to quit than we did.
In contrast to President Trump, Biden is off the trail, preparing for tomorrow night's big debate. Telling a Wisconsin station he likes the new measure, at times cutting off their mics.
I think it's a good idea. I think there should be more limitations on us not interrupting one another.
But sharply disputing accusations his son Hunter profited from the Biden name in his overseas business dealings.
It's a last-ditch effort in this desperate campaign to smear me and my family.
While the president...
Maybe I'm miserable and so on. But it's the only да, план пришивания интернет. Ну, так вот. Что тебе надо-то, блин? Да он тебе так говорит, да. Нет, вот это да. No, it's up to you. It's, да, it's not. Don't care, I shouldn't have that. The whole idea was, yeah, about, no, that. No, the whole idea was about, is it perfect? It's perfect. Что ты несешь, блин? The whole idea was about music. It's about music, yeah. The first, but there are many, many, there's at least. The music was first, as you can see. As you see, yeah. See? Shut up. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great, yeah. Yeah. I have for you to look at me and my father and my no, as a representative of that what it's insane. Yeah. Just look at me and yeah. Yeah. Нет, ну наоборот. Типа нет, just yeah, people, yeah. No, it doesn't really matter. I don't know. Some kind of, yeah. Yeah. Ну вот, естественно, нет, это ты уже говоришь. Что тут нет? Something about it, yeah. Заткнись уже. Нет, ладно. Наоборот. Ну, like this, да. Нет, not really. А, вот это, да нет. Скрыл. Нет, наоборот. About me playing piano, though. Living my life, which is music. What? No, not foreign. Which is just doing that. No. Правильно. Which one? Just yeah. Many meanings. Yeah. Many meanings. Oh man.
And is in attack mode. Biden is trying to strike a closing message of unity.
For better, moving better, for better playing piano, for better being musician, for being better musician as a pianist, for piano. На что он врет-то, не понял.
There is only one America.
There are warning signs for Democrats in Pennsylvania. Since June, Republicans have outregistered Democrats and new voters by more than 2-1. Former President Obama telling Pennsylvanians voting doesn't make everything perfect, it makes things better. Trying to get out the vote in a state both campaigns need to win. Lester?
Tonight, the CDC's new guidance on close contact and spreading the coronavirus, just how long it takes to raise or reduce your chance of infection. It comes as cases spike in several regions. Miguel Almaguer now with what you need to know.
As our nation climbs higher into a third surge of COVID cases, tonight a new CDC report finds it takes less than 15 minutes of close contact to become infected with the virus. Short and non-consecutive exposures to persons confirmed to have COVID-19 led to transmission. The new change in guidance, which comes as more Americans return to crowded venues, means you should still keep at least 6 feet of social distance, wear a mask, and limit exposure to others.
This increases the importance of what is a high-risk exposure and were you frankly close to anybody that was positive for COVID-19 for any period of time.
The new guidelines come as new outbreaks or super spreader events are tied to close gatherings. In Minnesota, at least 20 Salvation Army employees contracted the virus during a conference. At church events in North Carolina and in Maine, nearly 100 tested positive after few took precautions.
Some Americans are still spreading the virus because they don't know they're infected. Asymptomatic cases are still contagious to others.
As a tidal wave of infections sweep across the nation, 27 states are seeing an increase in COVID deaths.
He had said goodnight to the kids and he went upstairs, and that was the last time I saw him alert and basically alive.
Alice Roberts lost her husband Rob, a 45-year-old New Jersey police officer and father of 3 who had no pre-existing conditions.
I am really tired of pandemic, but you can't let your guard down.
Tonight, her warning so other families don't have to share her pain. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
This is Gabe Gutierrez in the Midwest, where tonight the region's second surge is spreading rapidly.
In my 34 years as a physician, I have never seen so much suffering from a single disease over such a short period of time.
I'm tired. I know others are tired. Not just our bodies and our minds, but our spirits are fatigued as well.
The patients that are coming in are incredibly sick. They're requiring extensive measures.
In Illinois, the testing line snaked down streets. A few weeks ago, this testing site in Chicago was dealing with no more than 600 tests a day. Now, it's up to more than 1,000. In Ohio, hospitalizations are at a record high. At a new nursing home outbreak in Indiana, 4 people have died and 37 others have been infected. The pain is spread widely, but not always evenly. A new study out today found that black patients in the U.S. were 72% more likely to be hospitalized than white patients.
It shows that the persistent healthcare disparities that exist in our U.S. healthcare system have been exposed to a great degree by COVID.
Shiny Gavin survived after spending 2 weeks on a ventilator.
I never imagined anything like this will ever happen to me.
At the same Chicago hospital was her mother, also sick. She died 1 floor away.
Having COVID is horrible. Losing a mother is horrific. It's better to wear a mask than to wear a ventilator.
Today, Illinois reported its highest daily COVID death toll since mid-June. Lester?
All right, Gabe, thanks. Breaking tonight, after years of court battles, the Justice Department announced an $8 billion settlement with Purdue Pharma, maker of OxyContin, which is blamed for fueling the opioid crisis. Here's Kate Snow.
The $8 billion settlement, the most dramatic effort yet by the federal government to hold a drug maker accountable for the more than 450,000 American deaths from opioid addiction.
Our criminal investigation in this case revealed that Purdue placed profits over public safety.
The company says it deeply regrets and accepts responsibility, pleading guilty to 3 felonies. Purdue admits it did not stop OxyContin from being diverted from pharmacies and doctors, and that it paid doctors to write more prescriptions. The company agrees to be restructured, with future profits on OxyContin paying for addiction treatment and prevention. In a statement today, the Sackler family, who created Purdue, said members who served on Purdue's board acted ethically and lawfully. Family members would pay $225 million to resolve all civil actions, but they could still face criminal charges. Critics say with Purdue in bankruptcy, it's unlikely the company will ever really pay $8 billion.
It was clear the Department of Justice wanted to make a deal and make an announcement before the election, and they ended up making a lousy deal. It doesn't bring justice, it doesn't bring accountability.
Tony LaGreca, whose son died 6 years ago after being prescribed OxyContin, thinks the Sacklers are getting off easy.
Every cent they earn
OxyContin thinks the Sacklers are Rebecca, whose son died 6 years ago after being prescribed OxyContin, thinks the Sacklers are getting off easy.
Every cent they earn from selling opioids, I believe, should be paid back to the families that they've damaged.
The settlement still needs to be approved by a bankruptcy court. Kate Snow, NBC News.
Let's turn now to that big surprise of me.
А у нас все спокойно. У нас 20 миллионов, и в стране только Путин процветает, все хорошо. То есть у нас пенсионеры, то есть, да. Мы ненавидим, понимаешь? Есть такая русская черта ненавидеть правду, ненавидеть истину. Да? Ну просто русское, вот как бы то, что ты называешь русским, да, советское, как угодно. Ненавидеть вот то, что, ну да, жизнь ненавидит, не в корне просто, да. Ты меня уже услышишь, ну ты меня уже презираешь просто. Да. И это просто русская черта, она страшная, и ты с ней не захочешь расстаться, потому что, да, лучше ходить в 20-миллионные иллюзии, чем, да. Да. Еще особенно, когда без бабки платят, да. За бабки бьют, да. Ты будешь молчать, потому что рыльце твою пушку, ты здесь получаешь, как бы, ты пришел куда-то работать, это, скорее всего, государственная контора, либо от нее зависит, понимаешь? The government, everything is, да, государство, да, варье, ворует, подворовывает, рэкет, bandits. Well, all the governments are like this, but Russia is extremely, you know, good enough, Boris good enough to know about it, like Navalny, but better. No, not better. It's too long story, yeah. Yeah. Politics is very, in Russia there is, politics is holiness of politics, but just say, yeah, because the thieves, we are thieves. But, yeah, fuck. Yeah, it's nonsense. That's what, yeah. So there's nothing, you can do about it. We don't care about anything, about your family or anything. There's nothing holy in Russia, but this. They don't know. What will, wait, yes. Holiness inside us, inside 20 million people. That holy death, yes. Just imagine. Okay, forget it. They don't believe me, yeah. They don't believe it. Yeah. Okay, be holy. Okay, I choose to live, you know. The nature or anything, or God gave me life, and he said, decide on your own. Move your body and your decision. Yeah, you can, and if you succeed, you will help other people, and you will help make your sperm. You'll have love, and there will be children out of you. No, you understand. And everything is okay, you know. This is healthy. Don't spoil it before, yeah. Okay, he didn't say die for something. He was, I'm afraid of pain because I don't want to die. You know? And everybody, if everybody will be like Russian, yeah. It's insanity. Like it's madness, you know. In the madhouses, people are smashing their heads in the walls and something. Yeah, it's like it's Russian. When 20 million, 2 million people from all. Well, I'm just explaining that it's something not really healthy. There's nothing holiness in this. I don't see anything. Yeah, just hating the truth is about Russia. Yeah, hating the things that are just understand that. Yeah. And don't war. Okay. Нет, он дурак уже давно. Нет. Okay, forget it. No, it's a... No, it's something. Forget it. I just want... Oh, it's life is such a harsh. It's just I'm Russian too. I was born here and have Russian natives, and I loved Dostoevsky in Russia and all the things that Russia, pedagogical things of Russia, Stalin proposed. no, forget it. And I just, and I say, we don't understand anything. We don't understand romantics, we don't understand sentimentality, we don't understand literature, and we don't want to know anything about it. But we don't, it's all fake. Yeah, what's not fake? Putin that gives money for Putin that provides us good food. Maybe not really myself, yes, good living for nothing. Stolen life. Stolen. Yeah, stolen. Okay. This is the Russian truth. Yeah, that they.
Major shift today by Pope Francis, now endorsing civil unions for same-sex couples. Our Ann Thompson has more.
I'm gonna work it out if it's possible. If it's not, I'm gonna die like this. Just, I don't know, 20. How many years will it take to be a musician? Player. For GUBAEVEV, for some, Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or anybody, and one's who's cool, and I don't know. For example, forget it. Who's strong? No, has some purpose. Okay. Anyway, it's the process. Besides, I just explaining the that. You're touristic, you say. You'll be fake. You'll be dead. It's like that. So it don't work. Why? What worth? Okay, what worth? The basics. So what's your body? The basics. It's fake. So I chose my way. So you mean the profession have to be only the body profession all the time? What do you mean? That's funny. Check it out. Forget it. Liars. Нет, смех, зло ты мне туда, да, просто пошел нахер. Нет, он о себе так думал просто. Нет. Заткнись просто. Нет. Наоборот, я о себе так говорю, когда типа думал.
Francis cementing his reputation as the Pope of surprises, saying in the new documentary Francesco, what we have to create is a civil union law. That way they are legally covered. I stood up for that. Father Jim Martin, author and advocate for LGBTQ Catholics, saw the documentary.
This is an historic step forward in the Church's relationship with LGBT people and LGBT Catholics.
Is he opening the door to gay marriage in the Church?
The Pope is not opening up the door to gay marriage being celebrated in the Mass, but he's opening up the door to people being approving of same-sex civil unions.
Church teaching says homosexuality is disordered. Today, Rhode Island Bishop Thomas Tobin called on the Pope to clarify his words, saying the Church cannot support the acceptance of objectively immoral relationships. From his first press conference, when he asked, "Who am I to judge?" Francis's papacy has been marked by compassion to gays and lesbians. Now the Pope says homosexuals have a right to be part of the family. They are children of God and have a right to a family. Nobody should be thrown out or made miserable because of it. Reaching out to those who've long felt excluded by the Church. Ann Thompson, NBC News.
NBC News has learned the parents of 545 migrant children separated at the border by the Trump administration cannot be found, according to lawyers appointed by a federal judge. The government calls them unreachables. A White House spokesman says many of the deported parents declined to accept their children back, but that is disputed by the ACLU. Across the country, we're seeing record early voter turnout. In Georgia, some 2 million people have already cast their ballots. As Blaine Alexander reports, it comes after chaos in the primaries disproportionately impacted black voters.
I'm ready. Let's go.
This is Election Day for Sachita McNair.
I'm not waiting those lines anymore.
Never mind that November 3rd is still days away.
We are ready to vote, y'all.
She's among the record number of Georgians voting early after...
No, my plan is to play piano before if you cannot play piano good enough to finish the conservatory, yes, in Paris, заткнись, смрось. Then you play piano all your life like a stubborn, everybody dies and you play piano like I do, yes, till the end of your days, for example. And the same with, this is the meaning of life, yeah? Yes. Anyway, you will be healthy. You will have your body if nothing happens, of course. So, you're going to share it and point fake numbers. Watch your way. Be careful. Yes. It's so do nothing. Be a gay man. No, смрось, заткнись уже, блин. It's just fake it. So, choose no professions but being a doctor of this body. Take care of yourself and this is all you need. Yes. All the other professions are fake. Yes. It is the man. It means to be a human being, male human being. That's his life. It is true, да. Я про себя так говорю, да. That's what I no way. So, this is your profession, So, a musician which plays piano musician, or musician, for example, you need to make it legal. Yes, you need to make it good and you need to make it real. Yes. Because I don't want it to be like I want to know where did it come from. I want to do better than this. I want to know what. After this, as I say, I don't need this shit. It's all shit. Go away. Maybe not. I'm going forward. So that's all. That would mean that you are not deserve your wife. You not deserve your wife. Yes, if you can't marry, position in society and so on. It's all lies. Тебе он так думал просто. This is dangerous position. I've got nothing to lose. In some meaning, no, you always have to. Where can it go? So, why should I change my mind, opinion, change my profession, change? Why? What's so? You can say that you will be sick, for example. That is speculative, yes. But don't do it better, don't be sick. Be more careful, take care of your, it's possible. I'm pretty sure that it's speculative. You're trying to tell me that that I'm for sure will be sick if I'll do if you're trying you understand that it's fake to be the point of it. Professions, there are only human professions, which are, businesses, professions. Okay? Some things that you're good are doing and for money, some niche. So, people like this.
They're learning a tough lesson during the June primary.
You've been here about 3 hours. I'm not leaving. You're not leaving until I'm done.
That image of McNair and many like her
I was angry because it was ridiculous.
led to state officials coming under fire, including Georgia's Secretary of State, who oversees the election. We happened to run into him recently casting his own early ballot.
Is Georgia prepared, or is your office prepared?
Yes, we are, and really it's the counties getting them prepared. We had a call out for new poll workers.
But critics say Georgia's voting issues go deeper than a lack of resources.
Every tool in the voter suppression toolkit has been in use in Georgia.
Andrea Young says the ACLU has spent years fighting against voter ID laws, closing polling locations and voter roll purges, removing registrations of people who have been inactive for at least 2 general elections. All legal and all disproportionately impacting minority and low-income voters, often with fewer resources to check their registration status or change their voting plans.
We want voting to be easy for working class people, low income people, the people who take the bus.
But historically, it hasn't been. During the June primary, areas that were more than 90% black had an average evening wait time of 51 minutes. In predominantly white areas, 6 minutes. And for some in Georgia, there is lingering resentment over the 2018 gubernatorial race.
This is not a speech of concession.
When Stacey Abrams came within 55,000 votes of being elected the nation's first black female governor, she and her supporters point to voter suppression. The state's governor, who at the time oversaw the election as Secretary of State, maintains it was handled fairly.
This is exciting. People are getting out.
Now, with record turnout expected,
This time, 27 minutes. Right. Much better? Much better.
both advocates and officials say to help make this election go smoothly, vote early. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Atlanta.
There is record-breaking early snow across the northern plains and upper Midwest, nearly 8 inches falling in Minneapolis and more on the way. Parts of the Dakotas could get up to a foot of snow. In 60 seconds, as one major city switches to all remote learning, the crushing burden in this pandemic on teachers. In Boston, schools are shifting to all remote learning as COVID surges there. In our series, America Under Pressure, tonight, the strain the pandemic is placing on teachers. Here's Vicki Wynn.
About over 1,000 emails.
Nick Ferroni struck a nerve when he posted a simple tweet. How many teachers are close to breaking down? Launching a conversation about how teachers are really doing.
Exhausted and burnt out, but need to keep providing the best education I can.
It feels like we're building an airplane while we're already in the air flying.
It's my 15th year teaching, is that I feel like a first-year teacher all over again.
We sat down with 3 educators for a candid conversation.
Do you feel like in some ways the kids' stress and anxiety is also something that the teachers take on?
Absolutely. Those are my babies. My babies.
Nick is teaching history remotely. Kelly Gallagher is a high school science teacher. And Nicole Mancini teaches 5th grade.
What is the toughest part about teaching during a pandemic?
When we think of our kids, some of them are taking care of their siblings. Some of them may have lost a family member due to this horrible virus.
Trauma that's even harder to heal remotely.
Some students feel safer walking in our classrooms than they do at home. That's an aspect of education that we don't have right now.
On top of worrying about their students, recent surveys show nearly half of teachers say their own families are struggling, with 1 in 3 saying the pandemic has made them more likely to leave teaching earlier than planned.
It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to cry, because we have all done it so far this year.
Teachers are now connecting from around the world.
We've definitely gotten a little bit of that mentality of stronger together.
What is that silver lining that you're hoping for?
We now realize that schools are so much more than just schools to students.
In the springtime, when the kind of world of